in Britain's public spaces.
So this morning we're asking, is it time to start not criticising but protecting these statues? There's a reason why they're there. They're honouring something. We're joined by anti-racism activist Imran Aitan, who thinks we should pull down the Clive of India statue, and commentator and podcast host Sunil Sharma, who thinks, no, it should stay there.
Yes, let's start with you, Imran, shall we? What do you think?
Oh, well, definitely it should be moved into a museum. This is a man who basically is the figurehead of the East India Company that basically was known for murdering, torturing, starving, and more in regards to the Indian people. So I think it's just kind of a given. He should be removed.
Sunil, what do you say to that?
No, I think it shouldn't be removed. Statues aren't about glorification. A lot of it's about preservation of what happened in Britain's past. Some of it, of course, by today's standards, by 2025, we know is wrong and we wouldn't do it now. But we go down this road, it's a slippery slope. And I think too many times in Britain, we are constantly apologising for all the wrongs we've done in history rather than celebrating the good. And I think this is another example. So in my opinion, that statue should stay. And, you know, like I said, it's not about glorification. It's about preservation of Britain. And I think that's really, really important now.
You see, Imran, I just wonder, if you look at these statues and wonder, however they're right and however they're wrong, most people, I mean 99.9%, haven't a clue who the people are or what they symbolise.
You know what? I understand your sentiment, but I would actually argue we're far more conscious than that nowadays, Eamon. I genuinely believe that. I think we're so much more conscious of the fact that we have statues now that are highlighting, even if you don't want to use the word glorifying, that's fine, but they are highlighting individuals that murdered or are part of murdering Indians and starving Indians and more. We are more conscious of these things. That's the truth. So I think as we continue with the approximately 2 million Indians that are living in London, or UK rather, and the 800,000 that are currently living in London now, I think we should just be aware of the fact that we are more conscious in general, and there are more Indians.
So here's the question. What or who would we replace them with? And does anybody stand up to close scrutiny? Anybody?
I think in terms of who you replace it with, I think it comes down to just, I'm going to just be so honest with you. If you can find me an Englishman who built his career and the British Empire without having to pillage, starve, or murder people, then we're good to go. You can replace it with whoever you like, Eamon, that's the truth. But if you're going to continue to highlight individuals that literally are known for murder and conquer and enslaving and more, then I think it's safe to say we're going to continue to have this argument. So yeah, you can find an Englishman. It's just unfortunate because your culture, in terms of history, got 400 years of history where you have a lot of people that seem to lead with quite demonic, evil acts. And so that's
does that mean, Sunil, that we should have a country full of Bobby Charlton statues, really? Some, you know, sports people.
Well, being a football fan, I personally wouldn't mind that. But no, I think in general, there's not a single race, there's not a single region, there's not a single place throughout history that hasn't been involved in some pretty dark stuff. It's not just Britain that's gone through this. And I think the whole point of these statues is for that educational purpose. And like I said, you can't hold these people to the social standards of today. We know for a fact that slavery is wrong, but we should also highlight the fact that Britain ended and abolished slavery, and slavery still exists right now in 2025. So rather than us having this discussion, and everyone keeps having this discussion on Britain's impact on the world and Britain in particular with slavery, why don't we talk about the fact that modern slavery still exists across the globe, but instead we're going to talk more about what Britain did 200-300 years ago and all the bad stuff that they did without actually highlighting. They abolished slavery.
And I appreciate that sentiment. I think just for context, I feel as if these statues are kind of glorified or highlighted because we're kind of focusing on the good. There's far more emphasis on the good than there is the bad or the evil, rather. And in terms of kind of connecting to the point that you made in terms of we shouldn't be kind of applying attitudes that we have today to the past, well, we need to remember that those attitudes that we have today were also held in the 1700s, 300 years ago. We had Thomas Clarkson, we had Edmund Burke, we had the Quakers, all of which supported the abolition of the slave trade. So in terms of this kind of morality sentiment that we currently have in modern day, we did have it 300 years ago, so therefore we can apply it to the past.
We're out of time, guys. I've got to say goodbye to you, but very interesting what you both had to say, and in such a respectful way. Thank you very much indeed, because it really does get people hot under the collar, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Yeah, you
See,
will have a view on